Toddler met a dog in the street and kissed him. What happened next was not expected. A toddler spotted a lonely dog sitting by the street. Before anyone could stop him, he ran forward and pressed a kiss against the Chow Chow's nose. The parents froze, bracing for danger. But what happened next stunned everyone and ended with the dog walking home with the family. Before watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another heart-gripping story like this one. The afternoon sun was gentle, but the street felt unusually still. At the corner, by a cracked gate, the Chow Chow sat like a statue. His thick golden brown fur rippled with every breeze, his dark eyes fixed on the same spot as if waiting. Neighbors had grown used to it. Every day at the same hour he was there. He wasn't tired, but he never left. "He's waiting for someone who won't come back," whispered Mrs. Allen, the elderly woman across the street. She tugged her scarf tighter as she spoke to Clara, who had just stepped out with her little family. Clara glanced over, frowning. "What do you mean?" Mrs. Allen sighed. "His owner passed away 2 weeks ago. Heart attack. Ever since, the dog sits there looking at the gate like he still expects him." Clara's husband, Michael, shifted their grocery bag higher on his shoulder. "That's heartbreaking," he murmured. The dog didn't move, didn't even glance at them. His tail lay flat against the ground, his expression unreadable. Meanwhile, their toddler Ethan wriggled in his stroller, pointing with his tiny hand. "Doggy," his voice was high and eager, bouncing with excitement. "No, sweetheart," Clara said quickly, pushing the stroller forward. "Not that dog. Stay away." "Why not?" Michael asked softly, eyeing the Chow Chow. "He's just sitting there." Clara's lips pressed tight. "I don't trust strange dogs. And that one, he looks broken." Ethan's little legs kicked furiously. "Down. Down, Mama." Clara shook her head. "No, absolutely not." But Michael, with a gentler tone, crouched beside the stroller. "He's curious. He's never seen one like that before." "Michael, I mean it." Before she could finish, Ethan's persistence won. With surprising speed for his age, he unbuckled the loose strap Michael hadn't fastened properly, scrambled down, and bolted. "Ethan!" Clara shrieked. The little boy's white polo shirt fluttered as he toddled across the uneven pavement. His tiny blue shoes clapping against the stones. His soft brown hair bounced as he leaned forward. His eyes locked on the fluffy figure ahead. The Chow Chow stirred at the sound. His head lifted, his ears flicking. For the first time in days, his gaze shifted from the gate to the approaching child. "Stop him!" Clara's voice cracked, her hands trembling as she stumbled forward. Michael dropped the groceries, apples rolling across the street. "Ethan, come back, buddy." But the boy only laughed, his chubby arms reaching forward. "Doggy." The distance closed fast, 10 feet, then 8. The Chow Chow rose to his paws, his fur bristled faintly, his dark eyes unblinking. Neighbors nearby gasped, one even shouting, "Get that child away." Clara's heart pounded in her throat. "Michael. He's going to bite him." But Ethan didn't slow, his small legs pumped with determination, his smile wide, his whole body leaning toward the dog as though he had found something the rest of them couldn't see. The Chow Chow stood still, massive and solemn, like a guardian statue brought to life. His gaze locked with the toddler's as the gap shrank to only a few steps. "Ethan!" Clara screamed, her voice breaking into panic. But Ethan just shouted back joyfully, "Doggy mine," and rushed forward with all the innocence in the world. Behind him, his family followed in shock, helpless, terrified, watching as their baby boy ran straight toward the lonely dog everyone else avoided. And in that suspended breath, no one knew what would happen next. The world seemed to slow as Ethan's small arms reached out toward the massive Chow Chow. Clara's scream tore through the air. "Ethan, stop." But the little boy was already there, standing on his tiptoes, pressing his soft forehead right against the dog's nose. A collective gasp went up from the neighbors watching nearby. Mrs. Allen clutched her scarf, whispering, "Dear God." Clara's heart pounded violently in her chest. She was certain, this is it. He's going to snap. Her knees weakened as she stumbled forward, but the dog didn't snap. The Chow Chow blinked slowly, almost stunned by the sudden affection. His thick tail twitched once. His ears shifted back, and instead of growling, he exhaled a deep, weary sigh. Then, unbelievably, he leaned forward. The massive dog brushed his head against Ethan's cheek, letting the toddler's tiny lips press against his fur in what could only be described as a kiss. Clara froze, her voice caught in her throat. "Michael, he's letting him." Michael, standing only steps behind now, swallowed hard. He's accepting him. Ethan giggled, clapping his little hands against the dog's mane. "Doggy, soft doggy mine." His laughter filled the street, shattering the silence that had wrapped the moment in dread. The Chow Chow lowered himself onto the pavement, folding his legs carefully, his eyes never leaving Ethan. It was as though the child's presence had cracked something in him, a wall built of grief and waiting. Clara knelt quickly, scooping Ethan into her arms, trembling. She expected the dog to resist. Maybe growl, maybe guard, but he didn't. He just sat, his gaze steady, his breathing slow. The boy squirmed, reaching his arms out again. "Mama, no. Doggy, come home." Clara's chest tightened. "Sweetheart, he doesn't belong to us." Mrs. Allen's voice drifted over, soft but sure. "Maybe he does now." Michael rubbed the back of his neck, looking down at the dog who hadn't moved from his spot. "He's been waiting every day for an owner who isn't coming back. Maybe Ethan's the one he was waiting for." Clara shook her head, tears welling. "You're saying take him?" "Just like that." Michael crouched, meeting the Chow Chow's gaze. The dog stared back with eyes so tired yet flickering with something fragile. "Hope. Look at him, Clara. He's already chosen." Ethan wriggled again, determined. "Doggy, come. Doggy, sleep with me." His tiny hands tugged at Michael's shirt, pleading. Clara wiped at her eyes, her voice breaking. What if he's not safe? What if one day Michael touched her shoulder gently? He just had every reason in the world to hurt our son. And he didn't. He let him kiss him. That wasn't chance, Clara. That was choice. The Chow Chow shifted closer, pressing his head against Michael's knee. It was the first time he had moved on his own toward anyone since his owner's passing. Clara's breath caught. She bent down slowly, her hand trembling as she brushed the dog's fur. Warm, thick, alive. The dog closed his eyes at her touch, leaning into it. Tears spilled freely down her cheeks. Okay, she whispered. Okay, we'll take him. Ethan squealed with joy, clapping his hands. Doggy, come home, neighbors murmured in awe as Michael wrapped an arm gently around the dog's neck, guiding him toward their gate. The Chow Chow followed without resistance, his steps heavy but steady, like a soldier finally released from duty. When they reached their house, Clara carried Ethan inside while Michael fetched an old leash from the shed. As he clipped it on, the dog didn't flinch. He stood tall, tail rising for the first time in days, wagging once, hesitant, then stronger. That night, when Ethan curled into his crib, the Chow Chow lay on the floor beside it, his head resting near the bars, watching every breath the baby took. Clara lingered at the doorway, her arms folded, her eyes wet. Michael slipped an arm around her waist. See, he whispered. He's not lost anymore. Clara leaned against him, finally exhaling. Neither are we. In the quiet glow of the nursery, with their child sleeping and the loyal dog keeping guard, a broken heart found a new family and a lonely guardian found his place again. And it had all started with a toddler's kiss in the street.